Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tank Talks Movies. And today, oh wait, I guess you've seen, I changed the setup a little bit. And today, we are finally finishing off with the American Pie series, with American Pie Reunion, or American Reunion for short. In this movie, we start off with Michelle and Jim in bed. The camera's zooming into their room. We see underwear on the floor. We see bras on the floor. We see panties on the floor. We see the mattress bouncing up and down. R. Kelly music is playing in the background. And then it comes to see that Jim is on the laptop and Michelle is bouncing up and down on the bed trying to get their son to sleep. So, they get the son to sleep. And then Michelle goes, yeah, I'm going to go take a bath. And Jim goes, go ahead, baby. And then Jim, hears the shower, bath start running. And then Jim clicks out of what website he was on already and goes into a porn site. And, he pulls out the classic tube sock from the first movie, but this time fills it up with lube. And he's starting to, we're just hearing moaning and we, sex sounds. And then all of a sudden we hear, well, in the video that the girl's fucking in is going, fuck me, daddy, fuck me, daddy, fuck me. And then all of a sudden Jim's son walks in and says, Daddy? And, he's quickly trying to shut down the computer, the site for the moaning to stop, so he just closes it. But his dick gets in the way and it pinches his tip of his penis. And then, the son goes, Daddy's got a boo-boo, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. And all of a sudden, Jim bolts into the bathroom to go try to get a Band-Aid, and we see Michelle having an attachable waterhead down by her vajayjay, so she's also masturbating as well. And the kid yells out, Mommy and Daddy okay? Blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden it cuts to Jim at work. Well, first it cuts to the title screen, and then it goes to Jim at work, and then he gets a call from Kevin. And, they're talking about the reunion, and people are going, and they talk about Oz and Finch. And apparently Oz is a sports announcer for, a Sports Center type television show. And he is dating this gorgeous model. He gets home. He sees wine bottles, champagne bottles open, etc., etc. Okay, he walks out to the thing, and she sees her in the hot tub with a big burly black man. And he's asking, so, what's going on here? And she's like, I don't know. Well, you should. I would like to know because, you're in the hot tub with another man. Oh, and she says the guy's name, and he's like, Flaming Queen. Nothing wrong with you people, but still, he's getting a little uneasy. And then she tells him that they're invited to George, I don't know, doubt it's George Lopez, but I'm gonna say George Lopez. Yeah, sure. We'll just say George Lopez's house for a big party, and they said they're going. And I was like, I have my class reunion that day. So, they're like, okay, we'll go to your class reunion. Then we cut to Jim and Michelle. Jim and Michelle driving to Jim's dad's house, and we haven't talked about our Yeah, they're asking like, I wish you would let me do that to you and let, you know, you know, to each other. And then they get to Jim's dad's house. And apparently during the time of the American wedding to American Pie, American Reunion, Jim's mother has passed away. So Jim is trying to talk to his dad about, like, how's he doing and how's he, feeling. And he's pretty much really down. But he's still up and, still talking the way he usually talks, Jim, you gotta have, wear protection, or something silly like that. And then they end up going to the bar where Jim meets Kevin and Oz. And then Finch shows up. Stifler is working at a law firm or something, or some type of firm. And he is pretty much his boss's bitch. Pretty much. He's getting degraded. He's like Mr. Burns of Smithers in this movie. And so he's going to work, he's like talking to all these attractive women and high-fiving some of his buddies and stuff. Then he goes into this boss's office and starts looking at his boss's wife's picture and saying whatever Stiflers say. So, in this scene, his boss comes in, just kind of berates him. And, Stifler calls him a fucker under his breath. Then, he's walking down the street talking to his mom and telling him, I would like the house spotless and filled with booze, etc., etc. Then, he goes to the bar and he sees Jim, Oz, Kevin, and Finch. And they did not plan to run into Stifler because they just wanted their guys' night out. So Stifler joins them. Then they look at their yearbook, reading things. The bartender in the thing was I guess she wasn't okay. She was an unattractive lady that turned into a beautiful lady. And she was in the band, one of Michelle's friends. And then, Stifler gets Jim, Oz, and Kevin and Finch all drunk. And then, next morning, we see Jim on the kitchen floor, wearing no pants. He's trying to figure out what the hell happened. And then it goes to Michelle and her friend coming in, and they're trying to clean up the mess that Jim made. Apparently, everyone gets the drunken munchies, So, they are trying to clean up, but Jim won't hand some paper towels because he's not wearing any pants. So he kind of bolts to the corner. And he quickly grabs a frying pan, or a frying pan lid, and covers his groin, and it's see-through. So you see Jim's giblets and Milky Hershey's Kiss or something, I don't know. He just so embarrassed. Then, he gets clothes on, they go to the beach. But prior to all this, he run into the girl he used to babysit when he was a teenager, and she's just turning 18 years old, and you know she's like all excited to see Jim because you know old babysitter I guess, and we kind of get introduced to her douchey boyfriend AJ. AJ is your particular plain old jock, mean jock in a movie who thinks his shit don't stink because there's folks that have fucking money. That's my opinion on this guy. Okay. So, they're at the beach now. AJ's there. Him and his friends have been like stealing tops from the girls because they're, you know, so they don't get tan lines. So they chase Kevin, Finch, Oz, Stifler, and Jim chase down these guys to some jet skis, and then they get sprayed, covered in water from the jet skis. Stifler, they're like, we don't need to go to their level. Stifler's like, fuck that. I know exactly where they're going. So, Stifler ends up, you know, they get to the other side of the island where they're at, and they go. Stifler has a big, thick rope. So he buckles the rope to the two jet skis. And then he starts wandering back to land. And the guys are confused what he's doing. Because they thought he was going to steal his beer. They thought they were going to let the jet skis go. And they thought, you know, all this other stuff. And Stifler ends up taking a shit in the cooler all over their beer. Then he tells them to all fuck off, flip them off, and he hops in the truck, and all of a sudden he has the rope attached to the hitch of the truck, pulling the two jet skis onto land, smashing them into trees, and you know, they're just getting destroyed. Then they go to an old, I guess their old makeout point where they called it, yeah, I'm just going to call it makeout point because I can't remember what they called it. So, they just go down there and just, the falls, that's what they call it, the falls. And, so Kevin and Vicky are there. They're no longer together in this movie. Finch and I think her name's Vanessa. Finch and Vanessa start pretty much talking, getting, you know, close. And they just kind of like started making out and everything. But then, out of nowhere, Stifler and Jim see Stifler's old kid he used to babysit. And she's just blotto. And there she's saying, please Jim, take a shot with me, take a shot with me. And you know, she's just getting drunker and drunker. And Stifler tries to hit on all these like high school girls that are 18 years old or maybe a little older. So, and all of a sudden they tell him to take a hit from a bong. And he's like, so he's, you know, takes a big rip and he pretty much gets a phone call. His ringtone is so hilarious. It's a I love you long time. And then it's his boss pretty much telling him, I need you to come in Sunday and do all this stuff. He's like, yeah, but Sunday's my, like, you know, high school reunion. He's like, oh, I'll call the client and tell him that we would, you know, have a later date. oh, he's like, oh, thanks. It was a joke, you dumb shit. You know, pretty much calling. Stifler gets treated so badly in this movie by this guy. You actually feel bad for Stifler. Then, Jim is taking his neighbor home. Well, trying to. She's all drunk. And telling him that she loves him. And all this stuff. And he wants him to... She wants Jim to be her first. And Jim's trying to explain things. And then she takes her dress top off. And, you know, topsies are exposed. And he's trying to get... Okay, they get in almost a car accident. Because, you know, she's trying to give him a fucking BJ. But then all of a sudden, we see the Asian MILF guy. Yeah, he's like, are you guy? Jim! Jim, is that you? Yeah, how's it going, man? It's going. Is that Michelle? A lot of wives don't do that anymore. Yeah. So, blah, 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 blah. He's like, I just fell asleep at the wheel, blah, blah, blah. Alright, as long as you're alright, man. You know, tried to get Chumbawamba to play at our reunion. Bastards freaking, you know, canceled on me. Okay, then after this, he calls Oz and Finch, and Stifler. So, trying to sneak her into her house. So Stifler pretty much comes in, tells her, can we use your phone? And the guy's like, you guys don't have any cell phones? He's like, Jim gets her up the stairs as Oz and Finch and Stifler are distracting them. But then the wife wants... Well, Oz was also on a reality dance show. Like, it was called Celebrity Dance Off. It was like pretty much like Dancing with the Stars, but, you know, just regular dancing. So she wants Oz to do the routine for him. And, you know, all this... So, then, like, we hear a boom, something fall down, and in a room, and the dad goes upstairs, and pretty much asks, so when did you get home? Hours ago, Daddy. At this time, Jim is hiding all under her, like, stuffed animals. Stifler is hiding on top of some beds have that sheet that's above it. The dad leaves. Jim just bursts out. Stifler falls through the thing. And Jim gets Stifler out, and then, like, they all get bolt out of the house. Then, we cut to the next morning, where Jim is talking with his dad about possibly online dating. Trying to find different looks, you know. And then he goes, you know what, we're taking you to a Stifler's party. And you remember the Stifler party from the first movie? Yeah, it's changed to really, really different. Like more classy party. And Mr. Levinstein comes there, gives him a bottle of wine, and asks, and all of a sudden they start taking shots, and all of a sudden Jim's dad meets Steve's mom, Stifler's mom, and they're just up there just, getting drunk off whiskey, and he's like, beautiful girl like you shouldn't be drinking this heavily. So Janine and Lewis end up smoking a joint, getting really stoned. In this process, Michelle and Jim are finally gonna fuck. Finally, or at least try to. And then all of a sudden, we have AJ break in and saying he's gonna beat the shit out of, Jim, but he keeps calling him Adam Sandler. Well, he does got that Adam Sandler look to him, But all of a sudden we got Stifler, Finch, Kevin, Oz, and Jim fighting these young kids, or like 18, 19-year-olds, and all of a sudden, cops show up, arrest Finch, because the motorcycle he was driving earlier in the movie wasn't his. He stole it from his boss, and he's working at a Clinko, or a Staples. And then, the next day is the reunion. Finally, we get to the reunion. So, Finch's mom has to break Paul out of jail. And the reunion is going, and we see Jessica, who has officially come out as a lesbian. We see Sherman, who is divorced and just depressed. And now we get back to the guys. They're like, where's Stifler at, I thought he was all going to be up for this. And Stifler's at work trying to do the paperwork stuff, and he's just having the toughest time. So, the guys go visit him at his firm, telling him, dude, you really need to come to the reunion. Nah, man, you're right, everything has fucking changed, because everyone's getting fucking married and fucking having kids. It's Stifler, he says fuck constantly. And at the reunion, okay, they're in the office, and the boss shows up. Honestly, if I describe the boss, he's a fucking Prince wannabe. Just how he dresses. Prince is awesome, by the way. But this guy's a dickhead. And he's like, you know what? We're just trying to get him, well, he's got to do something. And Finn... Stifler tears his boss a new asshole. Pretty much telling his boss that his girlfriend's only with him because he has got fucking money. And he's peed next to him. You have your wiener is the size of a fucking pinky. And you know what? I could beat your ass. But I won't. But just think in the back of your mind, I could still kick your ass. So we go to the reunion, And Stifler's trying to cheer up everyone. And, like, he introduces Sherman to a girl he used to hook up with a long time ago. And they, Sherman, starts dancing with her. And, he's a Sherman, so he probably fucked up. Okay. Jim sees Michelle, and Jim and Michelle go into the band room and just get it on like there's no tomorrow. And who's out? Who do we see? Who do we see that kind of interrupts them? James? Nadia. We see Nadia show up, and they're asking how they're doing. Oh, you are lasting much longer now. He's like, yeah. I've got some self-control going on here. Could you give us some? Yeah. Yes. And Nadia's with a guy who kind of looks like Jim. Okay. Now we're going to be cut back to the reunion, where at Stifler's party, they're forced to watch Oz's Dancing with the Stars type thing, and is forced to watch him get eliminated. So his girlfriend's all on acid and shit. So he goes downstairs, he's gonna go get some beer or something, and Heather's down there, and they, start making out. And then Heather and Oz's girlfriend right now just start getting in a fight, hair pulling and punch, cat fight. And then at the reunion, Oz and Heather start dancing, and then they kiss. Heather's boyfriend approaches him about, him kissing her and everything. And he's like, what are you going to do? The guy's like, what are you going to do? You going to hit me? I'll sue you for everything you got. Stifler comes up and just punches this douchebag right in the face. He's like, bam! He goes, I got jack shit, dummy. I'm your asshole. And just walks away. And we see all the original cast together finally again, and Stifler gets one up on Finch. Stifler fucks Finch's mom on the lacrosse field, and then all of a sudden we just hear MILF. All of a sudden of silence. MILF. The two MILF guys come back, just start chanting. They're on the stands. MILF! 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 As Stifler's fucking Finch's mom. So, then it cuts to them all at dog ears. Just the guys. Just like saying a few things. And yeah, they're gonna hang out again in the future. And then Stifler goes, I fucked Finch's mom. And end credits. But I do highly recommend this movie because it is one of the better American Pie movies out there. It's better than The Naked Mile. It's better than Bandcamp. Honestly, it should have went American Pie, American Pie 2, American Wedding, and American Reunion. The others don't need to exist. This is the perfect ending to the American Pie franchise right here. And this has been Tank Talks Movies. I am your host, Tank, today, and it's time to sign off. Goodbye.